And for the people wondering what I did predict to actually make it all the way, today is the Tenpai Dragon strategy, and both of them are on it. And Wail will be able to immediately activate the Mulchami Purulia here.
We are pretty far away from the field, actually. Maybe
yeah,
we can
right.
Zoom in a little more, but what I can already see is the Mulchami Purulia that is being activated. Perfect.
Yes.
Perfectly executed. Purulia is activated, and now the question is, how many draws are we going to give our opponent? Because if we want to commit into a seals, let's give some draws. And you don't want to give Tenpai some draws.
And the Dimension Shifter, I mean, is that really that valuable in this matchup? Both of them probably relying on that card, but still Esteban figured it's worth activating it, because that means now Wail is going to be hindered by that card on his turn, and then when it goes back to Esteban, when Esteban hopefully in his eyes is going to have another turn, he will not be under the influence of Dimension Shifter anymore.
The thing is, what do you want to do here? Because if you commit a seals to the field, you're going to give your opponent 2 draws.
That is correct.
Honestly, it's tough, especially because if you commit into the seal, that may not be enough to stop your opponent, right? So that's the point.
If you commit into nothing,
still,
your opponent basically auto-wins this.
We could have had something without giving him 2 draws to go into seal, because it could have been Sengen summoning, actually discarding a Tenpai monster, and then going with the Fadra to bring it back
from the banishment.
We do not have that possibility anymore, as you just were mentioning, because that Dimension Shifter is now resolved. So honestly, the situation for a while doesn't look too bad here, being our Neverland, our duchy here in top 16, who's trying to make it to the World Championship. And we picked that Tenpai mirror match here for you guys because, of course, there is some strategy involved in that mirror match. Usually you just always want to go second, but here, when you're playing against the actual deck yourself, there might be some surprises coming your way on top of that.
I think this matchup also gets significantly more interesting once it gets to the siding part of the decks, right? You know, you have all of your going second cards that you might want to side out to go first, but now we have again Roku and a Chandra on the field. And this is already looking very, very good.
Yep, looking good, looking good. And also, Wail is actually running a card that hasn't been super popular lately, but he decided to run it. And honestly, in this matchup, it might be completely insane because he's running Super Polymerization. So he has an opportunity to get rid of dragons. So I think for Esteban, it was actually good that he didn't go for the seal, because that could have just, without responding, be fused away by that Super Polymerization that Wail could potentially have.
Wow, and here I think Wail has a chance, especially because I don't think Esteban has any sort of interruption in the hand, and I mean, as you mentioned, Leo, I mean, if you pass, I mean, you're exposed, and if you still continue to play, you're exposed anyway. So it's like a limbo, I would say.
And I mean, the normal sound of Pydra just gave our opponent the drawback that he used by discarding the Purulia. This is looking grim in game 1 for Esteban. Now we are going to see the Pydra on the side of Wail as well, is going to search for a Sengen.
Which one is it going to be? And I mean, for Esteban, I think the situation of losing the die roll here is way more cruel, because Esteban is running an approach to the Tenpai strategy with Dark Holes, with Raigekis, with Forbidden Droplets, and so on and so forth. Therefore, he really can only activate those cards on his turn. And Wail, on the other hand, is running a lot more of those hand interactions. He's relying also on Bestials, Ash Blossoms, and so on and so forth. And therefore, I think his deck for the particular mirror match that we're seeing here in top 16 is a little better prepared.
We're going to have a Genroku here as well. Discard the Dimension Shifter.
Shifter not around anymore. Again, Roku also on the field. More and more monsters coming down. Wail declaring, yes, I would like it to be a level 4 monster, because that is, of course, optional to be done. But Wail wants that Genroku as a level 4 here. And I do understand why, because that now enables us a level 8 Synchro potentially if we want to go that route.
Wow.
But let's see whether that is going to be.
Which ones do we have there?
I mean, there's a couple of options. I think when I'm looking at their level 8 synchros, there is going to be,
name one.
For example, the... Yeah, give me a moment, give me a break.
Do it, Basti. Name one.
There is, for example, the...
Sengen Kaiman is activated.
Oh, okay, still nothing. So maybe he just wants it then as the Still SV level 7 opportunity. That could also be the case.
Was gonna say, keep on looking. I'll take over.
Okay, so Esteban thinking, does he have anything to prevent this? Are we in the battle phase yet? Because of course in the battle phase, both players, yeah, I think we are in the battle phase because there is now the Sangenkaimen activated on the side of Esteban.
This is actually a decent super poly target here then, right?
Absolutely, look at that. There is the Fadra. Fadra not even able to summon anything from the graveyard. Genroku coming out too. I mean, okay. We have now 3 monsters, but that super polymerization looking beautiful there in the hand of Wail, and there it comes down. That is insane because we can, without response from our opponent, just take away the monsters that will be able to otherwise synchro summon in the battle phase.
And keep in mind, sometimes through Dimension Shifter, you're struggling to deal enough damage. Garura deals double damage
Not here. That is looking really, really good. That's so much damage.
Oh, but you can't.
Hold on. Oh, are we somehow restricted to only summon our dragon monsters here?
Oh.
Hold on. We were getting a little too excited here, I believe.
What does Garura says?
I mean, I think Garura wasn't the problem here. Or was it Garura?
No, it wasn't.
I think it was a restriction. Did he activate maybe the effect of Genroku? Genroku could be the one saying that you're only... Yup. Look at that.
Oh, wow.
You cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except dragon monsters. So I think Genroku was the crux here, why he couldn't use that super polymerization. We were already celebrating him for that super polymerization tech help, but honestly, if you're not even able to use it in that scenario, that's absolutely not that great.
I mean, Genroku is considered phenomenal support for the Tenpai Dragon deck, and you would want to use it, but sometimes you just need that extra little bit of help of the super polymerization. Now I'm really curious because Esteban is also going to be able to play with him a little bit there. How are we going to try and OTK through Dimension Shifter, basically? Are we going to give our opponent back a turn? Esteban, are you cooking?
Esteban might still be in this because in the battle phase, both players are now allowed to perform synchro summons.
But then next turn, Esteban would have to play against a set super polymerization. That is quite the problem card there, to be honest.
I mean, maybe we have a way to get rid of it in the main phase while that second summoning is protecting us. That could be something. But first of all, we're also going to use the effect of Chandra. I mean, SP Little Knight will probably also just get super polyed away. If I'm looking correctly here, I see an Earth Golem at Ignister.
Also takes away your opportunities to attack directly.
Yeah,
that is that is the next problem there.
But okay, we are in the battle phase, and I think both players now back and forth announcing their effects to synchro summon here. So let's see who ends up synchro summoning first. Looks like Wail is going to be bringing out something here through the effect of, I believe, Genroku was the last one activated there. And which one is it going to be? Oh, it's really, really taking a moment. Yeah, he has that Samurai Destroyer up there. First card laying in his extra deck considered, but that's usually your card you want to have against the Yubel deck.
Also not a dragon.
Oh, also not a dragon. You're absolutely right. True. Maybe he forgot again. I mean, he didn't summon it out. He was just considering it. And now Esteban is using all of his monsters. And that, of course, is pretty strong because we are now going to bring out the Sangenpai Transcendent Dragon. And does that also work in your opponent's battle phase? This says your opponent cannot activate cards or effects during the battle phase. So this card alone is shutting down Wail now. He chained, though, his own monsters to synchro summon, so at least those synchro summons here are going to go through. But after that, not a whole lot going to happen, and there now is going to be the Odd Ice
Meteor Burst Dragon.
Yep. Okay, we're attacking.
Now Genroku is milling 3 cards from the top of our deck.
Almost. But this is really tense. I don't know whether either of these guys expected to play a Tenpai Mirror in top 16 that deep into the tournament. They made their choice, brought a deck that is decently represented, but of course not like the most represented deck overall. Overall, in top 16, we do have 3 Tenpai decks remaining, which looks almost little to the 10 Snake Eye Fiendsmith decks we still have remaining in top 16 overall. Still, the bracket, the pairings worked out in the way that these two guys here are facing off against each other. Oh, okay. Looks like main phase 2 to me. Yup, and there is Hieratic Seals. Is that all we can offer? Okay, but Super Polarization, not really a surprise anymore now from this point on, because we have already used it.
Does it have to be a surprise, though? Because I think that the options to get rid of it in the main phase are actually limited for Esteban, unless he has something like a Cosmic Cyclone in the main deck, which I see he hasn't. A Hobby's Feather Dust, a Lightning Storm currently not available for activation.
I mean, I could see Kuibelt coming down. Kuibelt the Blade Dragon, of course, one of the cards that they're also running in their extra deck, the Tenpai players. That's a level 7 Synchro, which would be quite handy in that situation, because when that is special summoned, or Synchro summoned rather, which it would be, you can target one card on the field and just simply destroy it. And as you know, that is that Super Polarization down there. I would not be surprised if we want to go after that.
To be honest, if he now commits into summoning a Kuibelt, the Blade Dragon, then he's going to have nothing but the 2 monsters on the field that are both dragons, and then targeting a Super Polymerization doesn't sound like you're accomplishing what you want to in this situation.
I mean, if the Sangan Summoning is still face up and protects everything, then I think that would absolutely be fine. But please be noted, of course, the Hieratic Seal could also be used to then maybe in that same chain get that Sangan Summoning into the hand.
Yep.
And therefore that could be a risky move overall. Okay, Pot of Prosperity picked up for Esteban.
This is one of the nicest one, honestly, because here you can really look after something that you really need to take care with the Super Polymerization. Honestly, it's going to be very difficult for him. Let's see if he can find a solution out of this deck.
6 cards are going to be banished. I think the Kuibelt is staying in there. We are still having that option. Want to keep it. And what are we trying to get here? Do we just try to get Engine? The thing is, with Sangan Summoning, we already have a way to get to Engine. But, okay, that all looks pretty measly. Okay. Oh, I mean, Raigeki could be something, but not really.
Raigeki at least baits out the seal immediately.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Honestly, cool. I don't really dislike Raigeki, because it just rules out the factor of interacting with something more relevant in the end. But it is going to be the Forbidden Dropped instead that Esteban takes.
Still baffling to me that you can drop it a 0 attack point monster.
Yeah, I agree. That should absolutely not be allowed.
It's criminal.
Okay, we put the Transcendent Dragon into attack position. Also, deck building wise, interesting decision by Esteban to just one of the Transcendent Dragons. A lot of people are running 2, but he only went with 1. Okay, now we are going to put that Sangan Summoning back to the hand. Are we in the battle phase? I would expect so, right?
Yeah. Very interesting now, because Esteban knows that their Super Polymerization is here. So honestly, without playing also with the Sangan Summoning, being in hand is going to be a bit difficult for him, but
here comes Fadra. Of course, still no Tenpai monsters in the graveyard, as this is the first turn in this duel where Dimension Shifter is no longer a thing.
We can't be in the battle phase because Transcendent Dragon is up on the field, so...
Oh, you're right. We must be... Yo, that's a very valid point.
It was just Sangan Summoning trying to activate there.
That could be the case, you're right.
While hoping that there is no more access to the engine for Esteban. I think that might be the case.
Yeah.
Because on its own, the Transcendent Dragon shouldn't do too much.
No, I do agree. It is a pretty good backup. It's a pretty good safety net saying, hey, your opponent can't interact with you, but besides that, you will need something else. Oh, wait. And I mean, then that must mean that was the end of main phase, honestly, because we're still able to activate the effect of Sangan Summoning here. So that must have been the case. And we are just going to activate the effect now. We can grab that also powerful. Is it going to be Pydra or is it going to be Genroku? I think those are the 2 most likeliest options here.
But aren't you just absolutely fine if your opponent just calls battle phase?
There's Pydra, discards Dark Hole. I mean, there could be a Sangan Kaiman coming, right? And then you could be in a little bit of a problem, because then you also can't activate the Super Polarization in the battle phase, and then you might just be done with just that one Sangan Kaiman, which he's now adding as well, though. So, what's next for Esteban? Sounds like battle phase to me. There is the Sangan Kaiman now.
I mean, then the Super Polymerization is also shut off, right? You can't activate effects.
Right now, you can't, absolutely. I think maybe what Wail should have considered was when he put that Sengen Summoning back to the hand, he should have immediately, when the Fadra came out, used the Super Polymerization to fuse with his own monster and the Transcendent Dragon, and that would have given him at least a chance to activate it at all. But the way it works right here, right now, I think Esteban is free to go, and he's just stopped by that one Fadra there, which at least cannot be destroyed by battle here. But we already have, of course, the Sengen Summoning of the field on the field. We could get ourselves into position to summon out Trident Dragon as well. And honestly, Wail last turn actually took damage while attacking, so Wail is down to 5,000 life points. And I could see Esteban having the opportunity here to deal technical 10,000 points of damage and even through that Pot of Prosperity, make it happen here in this turn.
Yeah, I think he can make it, because, I mean, now I think it's too late for Wail, and let's see if he can find the ways to special summon the Trident Dragon.
Is that going to happen? Biden Dragon, of course, in the graveyard would be great, because that could destroy the Oh, look at that. We're going to use it now. We're going to destroy the Sengen Summoning. Okay, Trident Dragon will be able to attack multiple times now.
But how are we going to get rid of the Fadra here?
That is going to be the case through the... Oh, we're also going after the Super Polymerization.
And there's the Droplet, of course.
Of course, the Droplet is sealing the deal. So that was the right choice with the Pot of Prosperity, because that is sealing the deal here for Esteban. And Esteban Ray is taking down game number 1, being only 1 game away from top 8 now.
I'm impressed. He absolutely knows what he's doing with the Tenpai Dragons.
Totally.
Yeah, I mean, especially because, like, you know that the Super Poly was there, and I think he was patient enough to deal with that, and maybe kind of a misstep from Wail, because, like, he basically lost the momentum where to activate the Super Polymerization in the spot, and...
I mean there was never a situation. There was the Sengen Summoning, and then there was the...
No, there was but also there was the Sphere, right?
Yeah, true, but why did he activate this at the end of the battle phase? End of main phase.
I mean, if Sengen Kaiman is there, it's over.
Oh, yeah.
If he has Sengen Kaiman in the battle phase, there's just no way we can do any of the things anymore. You can't activate the Hieratic Seal in the battle phase, you can't activate the Super Polymerization. I think that one card just immediately seals, and therefore I think it was a risky decision to just go with it, because still he couldn't stop what was about to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, there was nothing really unknown. He just searched out a monster. I think what he should have... Yeah, I don't think it really was avoidable. Esteban just had a really good way to play through there.
The thing is, like that, he gave his opponent the free search for Sengen Summoning, got the Pydra, and that got him the Sengen Kaiman. So he didn't have the Kaiman before, and got it through just bouncing.
Actually, that actually was the guaranteed way to Sengen Kaiman, right? You're right, maybe you should have just taken the risk of maybe there not being a Sengen Kaiman. I see what you see, for sure. But on the other end, you can't really guarantee that, you know? But it's actually a real big change in the mindset, because these guys have been going second all day long. They had a very, very crystal clear game plan every time, trying to go through potential Snake Eye Fiends for fields and so on and so forth. And now being in top 16, they sit down there and they're playing a completely different game now in that mirror match. It's pretty insane to me.
Totally. And what do you guys expect in a mirror match like Tenpai? Like, your opponent lets you go first, so what cards do I expect that he will side in?
Ooh, if there would be Barrier, that would be nice, but I have to say, okay, there's one Barrier actually for Wail. An interesting card, though, in the main deck even of Wail is the Sengen Kaio. So he actually, even in the main deck, is kind of prepared to go first, because he is running that also powerful trap card of the Tenpai deck as well, which was recently introduced in Infinite Forbidden 2, because that can just pretty much give you another turn, buy you another turn. I think, therefore, that may be the way, even if he... I think going first or second, you may just want to keep that Sengen Kaio in, like when Esteban will make the choice. I really like the inclusion, because that is going to be a good card in the situation he's in right now, the mirror match.
And honestly, I think it was very impressive that Esteban won game 1 after losing the roll, which is something that, honestly, I mean, you pray that you win the roll in the mirror match, but, you know, it happened, and I think this is something that, you know, to be aware of, and I say that our players are done with their side deck, so let's jump into game 2.
Yeah. Those Tenpai players are not only quick players, but also quick side deckers, apparently, because that was quite a quick side decking process there.
I think at this point everyone just side decks quickly. Everyone has their patterns, especially in the top 16 of the European Championships. And I want to say that Esteban, it just looked crazy good what he did in this first game. So I've never seen a Tenpai mirror before, and apparently if you're in the battle phase and you are going synchro summoning in Chain Link 2 and you're summoning the Transcendent one,
yep,
you're actually kind of good to go, right?
Very, very, very good indeed. There is now the situation that Wail has again decided to go second, even though he is featuring that Sengen Kaio in his main deck. Still, he wants to go second, and he starts things off with Pydra searching out the Sengen Kaiman.
I want to say that he's actually side-tanking quite a few cards for going first. And this one, with no Perulia, looks like we're going to try and establish a seal to the field. And that just makes sense because seal is going to generate some resources back. We're going to get Genroku now. And this one is going to special summon itself.
Yep, okay, Esteban clearly clarifying what kind of level we're going to have. I don't know whether it's going to matter. Is that going to be a synchro summon, or is that just going to be the link summon we were expecting?
Oh, any crazy techs?
Look at that. All right, we go for the Biden Dragon first.
Not the craziest of techs.
I mean, that's kind of fair, right? Already having a Biden Dragon sitting in the graveyard if you go for seals. I kind of like that. Or maybe, I mean, how do we like just summoning out Sengenpai Transcendent Dragon immediately
yeah.
and just saying, hey, you can't use any monster effects in the battle phase? I don't hate that either.
Doesn't sound too bad, no.
Also, do you think Esteban is going to play, like, in the mind saying, okay, my opponent plays Super Poly, so I should play around it?
I hope
somehow?
so. I hope so, absolutely. But it doesn't really feel like it, does it? Because we are already having... Okay, there is the Transcendent Dragon.
Follow your advice, which I think is wise in this situation, because I think he has a Solemn Judgment as well.
I mean, Solemn Judgment is great and all, but Solemn Judgment does not do a whole lot against Super Polymerization. So if Wail is able to find a Super Polymerization again here, I think this time it might actually be the game-winning card that he was anticipating it to be in the last game already.
Oh, and
so
you guys can see it already. This was the top card in his hand. What is this?
How are we ordering this? We still have to play through 3 backrow cards. Oh, and look at that adorable new card from Infinite Forbidden. That is going to be Dora, the normal summon of choice here. And that is actually... Oh, and we are going to go for the Super Polymerization. We do have it again. And we try to fuse with our own Dora and the Transcendent Dragon. Ooh. Oh, look at that. We tried to imprint the Dora. That led to us chaining the Super Polarization. So we do not only get rid of the Transcendent Dragon, but we also get to resolve the Dora here. That's strong stuff.
Leaves another problem. The Fadra is still on the field.
Absolutely, agreed.
And we have seen earlier that this is kind of an annoying card to deal with.
For sure, okay. But
Esteban needed a droplet to get rid of it.
So next up, there is Genroku. Okay, again, clarifying. I love how they're so clear about it. They're always doing it with their hands. Yep, this is a level 4 now. I don't want you to miss out on that. There is now going to be Pydra being summoned out through the effect of Genroku.
Now this time it is done in the perfect sequence to summon Genroku after we have summoned a winged beast in Garura Wings of Resonant Life.
And this time around, it looks more like a Tenpai game to me. And that's what probably Wail absolutely wants. He's just setting Sengen summoning, but no, that's not how it works pretty much. We, of course, still have to reveal that that is the card we desired.
Setting, Sengen, setting.
What a setting.
Now I confused myself with that pun. I gotta stop at some point. But I think, actually, Wail got to decide who starts the game, and it's basically the cards in his hand, even also with the Tenpai trap or the Sengen trap. It kind of looks like he decided for going first.
Honestly, I do like the inclusion of Sengen Kaio. Yeah, but Sengen Kaio can have kind of a nice effect in being a good discard potentially for the Forbidden Droplet, not able to be then outed by a Solemn Judgment, for example. So I think it does have some applications. And yeah, I think it's still all right. Oh, look at that. We are summoning out the Biden Dragon and Esteban, considering his back row once again. And there is Solemn Judgment getting rid of that. Okay, so Sengen Summoning, of course, can only protect monsters that are already on the field, but Solemn Judgment prevents that Biden Dragon there from coming to the field even.
But there is still a Sengen Kaiman in hand. Can we work with that on the side of Wail?
That's the question we will have to answer here. Wail, are you heading into the battle phase? Yep, I think that very clearly is what he's trying to announce right there. And Esteban, now, that price for the Solemn Judgment is quite high. Only 4,000 life points against a Tenpai Dragon strategy is not really where you want to be at. But let's see whether Wail can do these needed 4,000 life points of damage here.
True, it's only 4,000. I mean, if he gets any kind of damage through, it's going to be game regardless, because that means he can out the
Ooh,
Faro.
but look at that, but there's the Ash Blossom and Joy Spring on the side of Wail.
And
so ours is going to resolve and theirs is not.
That is Tenpai Gaming with the last card in your hand. You're going to negate the last response of your opponent, and then you're going to summon one of the Tenpai Dragons to your field with some resources in the graveyard. That most of the time means that you're going to win. However, how are we going to deal with the defense position Fadra that can't be destroyed by battle?
That's a very good question. I think we will have to go through Fadra at some point. I would assume there is going to be the Fadra, yeah, being added to the hand, and then because we are in the battle phase, also immediately summoning it out. And that, of course, will now, in the process, enable us a couple of synchro options. And I mean, the Biden Dragon can now not come back from the graveyard as the summon was negated, but maybe eventually we're going to still be able to just out this, for example, through the Quibelt.
Yeah, we can summon a Quibelt, and our opponent is at 4,000 life points. That would mean that we have enough with Garura and Quibelt attacks.
Oh, look at this. Chandra, but also we see Esteban using the effect of Fadra now. Which one is he going to go with?
Not gonna lie, this feels a little bit like a Gladiator Beast.
Yeah, totally. All things happening in the battle phase, attacks being involved left and right. Gladiator Beast in 2024, ladies and gentlemen. Gladiator Beast, to be fair, a little slower back in the day.
That is true. Pydra is being summoned now as well. Pydra, both are going to resolve. Pydra.
Everyone just wants their Pydra at this point. But Esteban is not going to do anything with the card he searches here, because that Pydra obviously is going to only bring that to his hand. So that would be potential setup for the next turn. But Wail, of course, has different plans. He doesn't want there to be another turn. So let's see whether he can actually pull that off here. So there must be a way, right, to overcome these two monsters.
Yes, I mean, you can just run over the Pydra, right? And then Quibelt the Fadra. I think you just need 4,000 damage. I'm not too sure if Wail is aware of that.
You think he's not thinking about it? Maybe he's just
trying to go
for another line?
Yeah, maybe he's trying to go for more than 4,000, even though I think that if one deck can manage to do it, it's this one, right?
Absolutely. Biden Dragon is coming once more. This time can't be used. Like the Solemn Judgment can't be used on it, so it will be able to activate its effect as well. Fadra coming back, and I think now we're also going to bring out the Transcendent Dragon our own, or do we have different plans?
Nope, there it is, the Transcendent Dragon.
And we turn everything into attack position, which is a dangerous game for Esteban now, because that is not too much. Okay, attacking the Fadra. How much attack does Fadra even have? Because that is a lot of damage coming through here.
Fadra is one of the monsters with 1,600 attack points. How much damage are we going to be able to deal through those monsters on the field? If Garura attacks over a monster, it of course deals significantly less damage.
So attacking the Pydra now as well, but we're declaring attacks, and there is of course still the Biden Dragon now in the graveyard, which then could come back. And I think we definitely have declared 3 attacks now. Oh, and let's not forget about the graveyard effect of Zangen Kaien as well, of course, because you can banish this card and then draw a card, and then you can special summon any number of Tenpai monsters from your hand. But I think he doesn't have any cards in hand, so he needs a Destiny draw here. Is he picking up another Tenpai? Because that is what he needs. Didn't look like it, honestly.
That would have been a true heart of the cards moment, I want to mention.
Absolutely. But, oh, Wail honestly doesn't look like he gets there. He's very much thinking right now, going for his extra deck. But usually when you're so furiously looking for your extra deck and looking for options, you don't have a clear plan, honestly.
Yep. Next step of the plan is bringing back the Biden Dragon. I mean, part of the plan is maybe to just... Oh, okay, we're going to the Trident Dragon, and I think this could be enough damage. If we're going for a Trident Dragon with multiple attacks, that could mean that we're going to... Okay, we're actually getting rid of the Transcendent Dragon. Is there any response from Esteban, or are we going to force our way through this
There can't
field?
be a response from Esteban as the Transcendent Dragon was on the field. So let's see. That is going to be Trident Dragon. Now there is no Transcendent anymore.
Are we going to attack for game here? We're checking our graveyard.
Does he have something? Is there a way for him to protect, or is that the move that Wail needed?
This is the longest Tenpai game I've ever witnessed.
Same, even though it's only turn 2. And now we're going to go after our own Transcendent Dragon from the graveyard. You know what? There were 3 attacks declared, and it's a quick effect, so we may as well bring out the Transcendent Dragon on our opponent's turn, huh?
And now
there it is!
Is in defense position. The Trident Dragon is destroyed. Could we just have destroyed the Garura Wings of Resonant Life and then not let our opponent activate this powerful grave effect?
Wow, this battle phase, truly one of the longest battle phases we have ever seen. And the real question is the outcome of this match going to be decided here in this particular battle phase? Because I don't really see how much more Wail is doing here. And then Esteban would have the chance on his own to do a lot of damage on the upcoming turn. So maybe Esteban, actually, with his going second strategy, could be winning twice going first.
I mean, that confirms it, right? You're going to play Tenpai going first from now on.
I'm done. I'm done. That's what I thought when I called Tenpai the winning deck for the weekend, for sure.
Oh, but you can tell that Wail is struggling, honestly, to find, you know, the solution to this. It's
yeah, pressure is high. He doesn't want to make a mistake, and I think the card he drew off of that draw with his Sengen Kaiho was a spell card.
Wow, is he going to crash the Garura, or is he's crashing the
another
Garura.
draw. He needs another draw.
The Destiny draw.
Is it this time going to be one that helps him? There was so much potential damage with the Garura, right? But now that is not going to be the case anymore.
I mean, I think if he just didn't destroy his own Transcendent Dragon, then he could have just stopped his opponent from popping his own Trident Dragon.
And
Going to
draw
draw
another
that
card.
is Sengen Summoning. That is not going to cut it, at least not in the battle phase. One of the few cards of this archetype that you can't activate in the battle phase from hand.
Very correct. So, right now we are going to continue. Looks like Wail is heading on over to the main phase 2, checking his moves, checking his opportunities.
I mean, he has a Transcendent Dragon. Okay, we're discussing something now, so let's go back to us. Great idea. Let's just talk a little bit about how good this Transcendent Dragon actually is, especially in the battle phase as basically blocking your opponent, you know? You're floodgating them.
Yeah, I think that is definitely what they're trying to do. And I think the situation that just occurred must be the activation of Garura. It must be related to that. So there was no Transcendent Dragon anymore on the side of Esteban. So I thought there was nothing preventing him from activating that Garura, but maybe there is something going on, and we are just going to double check, of course.
Yep.
I think the head judge is going to be involved, just trying to see whether there needs to be a penalty upgrade or anything, of course. Stakes are high, top 16, only 2 matches away from qualifying to the World Championship, so you want to make absolutely sure that there is going to be everything just correct and as it should be. So absolutely good that we actually get the head judge over for that.
Absolutely. As you can see, Alberto is trying to figure out what is going on. So you're going to keep us updated on this judge situation. Other than that, as I said earlier, I'm not too well of an expert in those Tenpai mirror matches. I did not expect it to be this close if you're winning the dice roll, letting your opponent go first, and then actually that you're struggling. The Tenpai Dragon deck is so good at defending itself in the battle phase as well.
Yeah, you're kind of slow with the Tenpai deck, right? Aren't you, to understand the mechanics of it? Speaking of slow, the penalty upgrade that is potentially being applied here right now is apparently a slow play warning that is going to be potentially upgraded, and that is why the head judge currently is at the table trying to figure out whether there is the necessity for that or not, and therefore we are right now just leaving it to the judges at the table, and we're going to talk a little more about my favorite deck, Tenpai. And I think there is an approach out there playing the Tenpai deck as a going first deck. I don't know whether I'm too much in love with it, but you can see here very clearly that it does have the option to do so. That is not completely incapable of doing so. With other going second decks in the past, I always had the feeling when you let them start, there's going to be so little that they can do. Thinking of decks like Mech Knights, for example, which was a pretty popular going second strategy. I mean, they had that trap card, right?
Yes.
That was kind of nice. What was it called again?
Yeah. They had the continuous trap card. That's
Exactly
the name of the card. The continuous Mech Knight trap card. Yeah, it worked a little bit like a skill drain. If there is a card that you have in the column of a monster of your opponent, or basically any column you have one of your Mech Knights in, is going to be a skill drain column. And then, of course, you had multiple cards that would shove your Mech Knights around on the opposing turn to just basically chase your opponent's monsters with skill drain effects, which was hilarious.
It was a Called by the Grave as well, right?
Yeah.
No, not Called by the Grave, a Call of the Haunted, rather. It was actually bringing back the first one.
Column by the Grave.
Column by the Grave, exactly, that's what you would call it in the context of it being a Mech Knight deck. But yeah, I think definitely Mech Knight at this point outclassed by the potential that Tenpai is offering you as a going second strategy. And I'm not surprised that we have 3 Tenpai decks here in top 16. What I'm surprised by, though, what I will have to say is the Germans. Even though we had a majority of German players entering the tournament, there's only 1 remaining in top 16. And Alberto, not only here in the casting booth with you, but the Italians are taking over. They're really performing, and they're really on top of the competition. Even though in the overall representation, you actually fell down behind the UK. Right now, you're up there. You're like the most represented nation in top 16, which is crazy to me.
I told you guys yesterday.
No surprise to
I told you guys. No, but like in general, what like I saw the field before in the top 64, and in the top 32, I'm a bit upset that Lorenzo Muselli lost.
True, I saw
fair.
that. Yeah.
I think he was really chasing that dream, especially because like last year he was 8-0 and then he went 8-3.
Oh no!
Which it's insane if you think about it. And yeah, I didn't have the chance to talk to him yet. Also, Michael Forner, previous World Championship competitor and 4th place, got knocked out in top 32. So still some Italians remaining, but yeah, I mean, still.
I mean, you have Esteban Reda, who's just currently sitting there and honestly playing out of his mind there with his going first approach to the Tenpai strategy.
Actually, his plays are so good that Wail takes a little while to play his cards there.
I don't even know whether it is about Esteban, though. It's probably more about Wail.
Well, yeah, that's what I meant.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, guys,
Yeah,
I think that's it. We can. Yeah, I think that's it. What happened was. There was an upgrade of a slow play warning that was previously given to Wail throughout the tournament, and which means that Esteban is our winner of the future match.
Wow. Right. Yep. Okay. I mean, when there was a previous warning which needs to be upgraded, that of course is how it is going to be handled. And I think the players right now are just going through the motion, explaining how the game would have went down. I think Esteban is being like, hey bro, don't be upset. I probably got that anyways. I think he's showing him what he still had left in the tank. And that's a nice move. Cool move by Esteban, and Esteban now. Oh my. Yeah. 1 match away from the World Championship qualification. Holy, how good must that feel?
Dice roll, just letting your opponent start, watch them play, and then obliterate their field and deal all of the damage that you want to deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, you were absolutely right. I think he would have got this while had some potential to win this game. I think that was a big misstep with the Trident Dragon and the Transcendent, popping the Transcendent, giving your opponent the chance to actually get rid of your Trident Dragon, because that dragon looked dangerous, especially on 4,000 life points.
Yeah, but honestly, Esteban really showed that certainly wasn't the first time he was facing another Tenpai deck, because he was completely aware that also his Transcendent Dragon would be a quick effect on the opponent's turn and their battle phase, and it was also majorly important because it is just blocking your opponent from playing pretty much entirely. So he really had all the moves already prepared to then be the outcome, the winner here, and that was then also the outcome of a swift 2-0, even though the upgrade there came in with the penalty, but he really played that out really well.
I really like the way he was patient. Basically, like if we think about the 2 games, there was not something that big that said, well, he got this, right? I mean, somehow he won.
Honestly,
I would say.
Honestly, 90% of the game, Wail played. Esteban didn't really do too much.
Yeah, exactly.
In game
it was more Wail activating cards, right?
Yeah, he was just leaning back, being like, okay, yeah, I got this.
Esteban in game 1 was like, okay, I'm going to summon Transcendent in your battle phase. That's all I'm committing to. Then I'm going to watch you struggle while you definitely can't OTK me. I'll have the Fadra to stall some time there, and then I'm going to OTK you back, which was a little bit of Esteban playing. And then in game 2, just basically the exact same thing, you know.
Yeah.
Actually, he was sitting on Fadra, saw his opponent was struggling, and then took this one opportunity that he got to summon back the Transcendent Dragon to get rid of the only card that was threatening him for game, and phenomenally played. The calmness on this man is incredible.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, it's quite the way to enter that kind of a tournament. It's quite the way to enter the World Championship qualifier here in Berlin with free Darkhold, free Raigeki to Lightning Storm and all that kind of stuff in your main deck. I mean, you got to appreciate it, not gonna lie. That's pretty cool with all these old school cards coming after the people.
It's a classic.
It's very much a classic. And I mean, I love the return of Darkhold and also Raigeki because, to be fair, those cards weren't really that popular in the format before Infinite Forbidden. But now, with the Fiendsmith inclusion, apparently everyone is on these cards.
I'm also gonna say I'm a little bit surprised by this because still a lot of the time Appaloosa is being made with IP Masquerena as material, especially because you can afford to do that now with the extension of the Fiendsmith engine in your Snake Eye deck. And therefore your Appaloosa would just go when your opponent is going to activate Darkhold or Raigeki, and you're also going to recycle that IP Masquerena basically immediately, summoning that one out. Maybe even if you're knowing that you're against Tenpai with Raigeki, with Darkhold, you can do that in the draw phase, do not play into something like a Talons, and then chain it to Raigeki and Darkhold as well, summoning something like a SP Little Knight, which then of course loses the chance to banish something important on summon. However, you still have that Farfa-esque effect.
Absolutely, and I mean, for the people rooting at home, maybe their favorite deck, I can quickly give you an overview of what's still left in the competition in general in top 16. Of course, a couple of the matches may have already been played out there on the floor, but overall, we had 10 Snake Eye Fiendsmith decks. Then we had 3 Tenpai, obviously just lost one of them, but also can confirm that one of them moves on to top 8. And then there is one Rescue Ace deck, our previous feature match, of course, with Christos Marikis. He looks good, honestly. I think I have some high hopes in him as well.
Handsome man.
Yeah, that for sure as well. But he has some kind of a top 16 curse at European Championships, so let's hope he can overcome that.
He's playing the absolute outsider deck, right?
Absolutely. And then there's also still Julio Valls with the Ritual Beast deck, which we featured yesterday, and one lonely player with Jubel as well. But man of the hour, of course, is going to be Esteban Rey, who's moving on to top 8. So let's hear it in the Minnesota view.
Thank you very much, Pastor. Yes, I am here with Esteban, who's just won that top 16 feature match. And now you're heading into the top 8. Congratulations.
Thanks.
How do you feel?
Fine, thanks.
Yeah?
Very fine and excited.
Excellent. So now you've got one more game left, and if you get into the top 4, you're going to Worlds.
It's a dream. It's my dream.
It's your dream?
Yes, it's my dream.
Only one more to go. Do you think you can do it?
I don't know. It's very difficult, but I want to prove, and I'm too concentrated.
How did you find the Tenpai mirror match?
It's very difficult because if you lose the die, it's a difficult matchup. But if you testing and know all deck, you can win. And if you hope the mistake of your opponent.
And what other ones have you gone up against? What other decks have you dueled against in the tournament?
Snake Eye, Snake Eye.
I imagine, yeah.
2 Ubers, and 1 Runic Stan, and 1 Snake Eye, Vanquish Souls, Fire King, 60 card, and 4 Snake Eye, and 1 mirror match.
Which did you find the most difficult?
Mirror match.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm so scared for mirror match when I lose the die, and it's too difficult for the die.
Okay, if you could choose the deck to go up against in the next round, which would you hope for?
All except mirror match.
Okay, anything except mirror match. Oh, fingers crossed. I hope so. Well, congratulations.
Thanks.
I'm going to let you go over to join Nadir now because you two are going to go and discuss that. So I'll let you go. You put that down and go head over there. These two are going to sit down and have a conversation. Thank you very much. Congratulations again, Esteban. It is amazing that one duel separates some of these amazing European duelists from going to Worlds. And obviously a couple more, and there'll be maybe the European champion. But there can only be one European champion. But there could be 4 Worlds participants. Will Esteban be one of them? Let's head over to Nadir and Esteban to talk about some of the plays that we've seen in that last duel.
Hi, welcome back everyone. Yes, we are here at the highlight desk here. Esteban, congratulations on your victory. Before we get into clip number one, I just want to quickly ask, so 10 Pi mirror match, you said you're quite afraid of it. It's not like the easiest form of skill expression. What is your dynamic in the 10 Pi mirror? How do you approach it?
The first, I prefer to special summon my Synchro Monster, Tenpai Synchro Monster 10, and I want to starting with the monster. First is very difficult, and I prove to survive. Post side, I can put judgment, and always I special summon Synchro 10 Tenpai when judgment. Because if my opponent special summon the same synchro monster, I can do judgment, and my opponent can't destroy my monster or to keep me.
Yeah, solemn judgment on a big monster, absolutely. Have you considered any other options like Heat Wave, for example? That's quite popular.
With my deck versus the Snake Eye.
Okay.
I prefer to see Shifter.
Okay, yeah, of course.
I play Old Ball Breaker and All in Shifter Hand Trap.
Okay.
And I want to not stop, but destroy Old Bird and OTK.
Yeah, okay. So rather than preventative,
yes,
make
I
them
don't
commit.
prevent. I want to cure the bird.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's see clip number one here. So this is the first battle phase. This is Wail's turn here. This is you in game number one here. Can you walk us through this a little bit? You are synchro summoning on his turn here, and somehow you've managed to survive this. What exactly is going on? Can you tell us exactly how this played out?
I special summon my synchro monster, and my opponent must to resolve Chundra for synchro summon 7 because Genroku is a tuner. Then my opponent special summon Audize for lock me.
Yeah, the Audize Meteor Burst prevents you from using in the battle phase.
I'm mistaken in this moment because I must to put my monster into the attack.
You should have put Transcendent in attack mode?
Because Genroku must attack my monster.
Of course,
and
yeah.
I forgot this. Attack because my opponent for effect Daejon take 3000 damage. Then I know my opponent can't OTK me.
Okay.
And I think my turn for OTK my opponent.
But somehow he's managed to not fully successfully attack for game. Did he do a misstep or anything? Or
sorry, I don't know. I don't listen.
Did your opponent do a misstep or anything here, or how was it that they didn't manage to finish you off?
My turn. Now, no. My turn. Do seal. When I put my monster in an attack, my opponent wanted active seal for pop my field. But I didn't active my field, and after I can OTK because the seal can negate my field.
Okay, all right. Yeah, there's the sealed here being summoned at this moment and then passing over. Let's head on over to clip number 2 here. So this is the next turn over to yourself here.
Yes.
In just a moment, this will be up on your screen here. Yep, so this is clip number 2 here. So this is your turn.
Yes.
In game 1, you've managed to survive despite your opponent making you start, and this is how you are attacking for a game here. Now, the Fadra is an issue. Walk us through this, and how do you deal with this situation?
Fadra isn't destroyed by battle, but I have to move to destroy. I'm active Prosperity and add the Droplet, and I can negate the Fadra. I know my opponent do set Super Poly, and I don't want to destroy my monster. And I prefer do Droplet for negate Fadra, and with before I special summon my Synchro 7 to graveyard to destroy his Super Poly. Then I prefer do
yeah, so you get rid of the back row, and then of course you have the Droplet for the
negate,
Fadra.
and I can attack three twice.
Yeah, absolutely. And the final clip here, just from game number 2.
Yes.
We're going to take a look at that here. This is your battle phase here. And you can see here that we've got a Garura on the field as well as a Trident Dragon. Wail isn't able to finish you off here, but somehow he just can't get through for game. Walk us through this little turn here, and how did you manage to come out on top?
I know my opponent must attack with Trident and destroy my Hydra, because if you destroy my Hydra, Trident can attack three
times, yeah.
times my Hydra, and I will lose. I know my Synchro 10 is the key of the win per destroy his monster.
Yep, the win condition to destroy, and then he brings back his Transcendent Dragon here.
Destroy my Dragon, but I know my opponent can't win this because I can take damage with my Phaedra, and can't destroy my monster, my Phaedra. And the next turn I have Field and Phaedra. I will OTK 100%.
Yeah, regardless. So I mean, the key point here is that you did manage to survive his battle phase,
yes.
And then from there you were able to capitalize with your follow-up.
Then I see my opponent, because my opponent take game loss, but I see my opponent I will win anything, anywhere, because I play Cool Belt. Cool Belt destroy your his synchro, and I will OTK.
Yeah, so just to clarify, of course, for the viewers at home, there was, of course, a upgraded slow play warning, but irrespective of that, you know,
yes.
gameplay-wise, you still had the game regardless of the outcome. So congratulations, Esteban. That
Thanks.
was really well played. You're now going on to top 8.
Yes.
So, you know, very close. How are you feeling?
Fine, but I want to
win the whole thing?
Win, and I want to go to the World Championship in America.
Yep, that's the goal, the World Championship. Our players are fighting for those last couple of spots available. Remember, the 3 duelists being sent from Europe have already qualified from the playoff from the Friday. So if you do want to check out some of the highlights from that, of course, you can see the VODs on the YouTube Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards EU. Esteban, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks.
We'll have more coverage coming your way very shortly, and we're just going to send you on over to Ed real quick to send you off.